So let's go in here and take a deeper look into this radio. For $120, you just can't beat it, guys. It's a value for the money. It's made in China. It has two different bands. So it has a European band and it has a U.S. band. Just depends on which one you want. If it does 200 channels. It does channel spacing of 25K, 20K, and 12.5K. So you can do middle band, narrow band, and wide band. Uh, Honestly, I've never had a radio that does 20K middle band. I don't know why you need it, but it's there if you need it. It has CTCSS and DCS codes for the repeater, and it weighs 0.64 kilograms. I know that the radio is 4.7 inches in the front, 1.5 inches up and down. And then on the side, it's 5.8 inches in length. It takes a, let's shut it off here. It takes this same cord as the Ocean Mobiles and some Kenwood, just that T connector. Turn this back on here. It's just a really great radio for the price, for the money. You can't, for $120, you get, you can talk on the ham repeaters, you talk on the GMRS repeaters, it's just a really good radio. And the price is good, and, the watts are good, and if you don't need 50 watts, this is the radio to go with. I think that out of all the radios I bought for the value, for money, for value, this is better than any other radio for the amount of money I spent to the value of what I got out of the radio. And I don't know what the experiences of other people. I know 2 other people that have this radio and they love it, but I haven't had any problems with it, like having like a computer crash or doing weird things that it's not supposed to be doing whenever I'm talking. It does get warm. That is one thing you got to consider, that it gets warm. Whenever it gets warm, you have to, give it a little bit of time to cool down. I'm gonna test the SWR on this radio, and I'm going to zoom this in so you can see as I'm testing it. So we're going to do high power 43.72 watts on 467675. Now let's go here and change the power to medium. Here's medium. 15.1417, bounce a little bit back and forth. And here's low. 970 testing. 5.08. That's a really good low. I like the radios that do exactly 5 watts for low. It always gives you kind of a benchmark whenever you're trying to get signal to see if you got good signal, bad signal, depending on if you can get it with low or high, But there's high, medium, low. So that's the power test. It definitely gets 23 watts, and then if you get the radio really warm, if it gets really hot, it'll drop down to 20 if you're running it really hard. But it takes a good 15 minutes of talking, like solid back and forth with somebody. But definitely, like, it's got a real nice connector on the back. It's real easy to screw the connector, the UHF coax on and off. It's really easy. As you see, it's got a really nice display. It gives you a power bar up top. And then the one thing that you have to get used to with this radio that's different than any of the other radios that I have is with each one of these is like P1 to P6, okay? You can, right now, you could hit one of these like VOL would be volume. MOM would be monitor. You press and hold it, and you can monitor whatever frequency you're on. You can monitor it directly, but it's only press, hold, and then when you let go, it stops. But if you want a different set of menus, if you press the function button here, it'll go to a whole different selected menu. So then, like, here's your power. You click power, and then you got low, medium, high, and then when you got whatever you want, you hit function again, and it says hit the function button. It'll go between just them two. So you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 menu settings. There is no menu. That's where it gets confusing for some people. There is no menu. You pick your menu from out here, and you can pick it from the numbers. So you just have to remember, like, volume is right here on P6, but you have to click until you find it on P6. See, after a while, you get used to it. I think that was one of the bigger things I had to jump over, but the display is nice, isn't it? Look how nice that display is. It even looks way better in person. This display is just crazy good. Plus, it gives you the volt reading right there at the bottom of the screen. That's really nice to have. It takes the same mic as pretty much a lot of the radios are today, but it goes in and out really easy. I mean, you don't have to fight it at all. Like, if, let's say, you needed to take it in and out every time that you went to use it, it would be very easy just to bing, it's out. Some radios, you really have to squeeze, and sometimes it can be really hard to get it in and out. That one's not bad at all. Then we got the speaker on the bottom, and then this small bracket that you use to mount it in your car. I've used this bracket in the vehicle. It's not too bad. The thing is, they don't give you much room between the radio and the mount here. But this bottom part doesn't get warm at all. Like, you could talk for 50 minutes straight, and this bottom part don't get hot at all. It's just this little piece on the back right here, right where it connects together here, it gets warm. So you could put this, if you put an external speaker on, you could put this directly flat on your dash. Like, you could put it directly flat on your dash and velcroed on your dash, right? And put an external speaker on it, and you could have it run flat, either external speaker flat, or you could put it inside something. But the top has to vent, so you could Velcro directly on your dash. But at the end of the day, this is going to need breathing room. It does not, it gets really warm. Not like, it doesn't get like crazy hot, but it gets warm. You won't be able to cover this up. This is going to need some good airflow, really. Even on the dash, the sun probably warm it up before you even start. This radio easily would like mount on the side of your center console or anything like that. But it's a great radio for $120. You know, $130 with the shipping. You can't beat this. I've talked 15 miles simplex on it, and I've talked a lot of long distance stuff off the top of a mountain. But you know, you gotta figure out what works for you, and I definitely feel that this radio will be a big pick for people. Like, if you don't want to spend $300 on a 50-watt radio and you want a good radio, I can tell you that this radio is a way better pick than a QIT. And I know a lot of people that want to get a QIT, but this is better than a QIT. I can tell you that. Just the amount of power, like some of the smaller QITs only get like 15 watts. This gets 23. This would be a really good pick for a new ham operator or GMRS operator. And if you do both, it's even better. It's all depends on how much money you want to spend and what's right for you, because 23 watts will get you where you need to go most of the time. Most of the time, even my 1000G, I run it on 20 watts. The nice thing about that is I can run it on half power. It don't get very hot whenever I'm running it at half throttle. This one, to run 23 watts, you'd have to have it on high all the time, and it does get warm. So that's a drawback. But I've ran 45 minutes of back-to-back talking. That means I talk for about 10 to 15 seconds. They talk for about 10 to 15 seconds back and forth for 45 minutes. And it got really hot, but it didn't do nothing crazy. It didn't fail. It didn't, it didn't do anything that it shouldn't have done. And it took about, after I was done talking, it took about 10 minutes for it to cool off, and it was good to go. So I know that a lot of people ask what the range is going to be. My honest opinion, if you have a 5-gain antenna, you can get 5 miles in a hilly area. If you're somewhere where it's really flat with just ups and downs, you could get 40 miles probably from the ground. It just depends. I know here in the Appalachian Mountains, we don't get the greatest GMRS service. We rely a lot on the repeaters. But honestly, this radio, it comes with a programming cable. Most of them come with a programming cable. So if you buy the radio, you can program it on the computer. It's really easy. One thing, it weighs about 0.64 kilograms. I know that the step size is 2.5, 5, 6.25, 10 kilohertz, 12.5 kilohertz, 20, 25, 30, and 50. That's the step increments that you can go in. From what I've seen online, you can't really extend the frequency more than what it says on the radio itself. The speaker with the audio is 2-watt speaker. The speaker is actually very good. I do wish sometimes that the speaker was on top instead of on the bottom, but having the bottom of the radio cool and the brains of the radio being on top helps be able to put it like directly on your dash like a lot of people would want to do. I really feel like sometimes these radios are hard to analyze, but I feel like the AnyTone is really, I feel like they're really working for their customers. I really feel like this radio was made for somebody that is really wanting a good radio, but not at an extreme price that not all of us can afford. Not all of us can afford $400 for a radio. And some people, like my family, some of my older family, they won't spend $400 on something like that. They look at that as a waste of money. But a more reasonable radio like this, they might actually, take and use and really enjoy for the price. Plus, it makes it a lot easier to buy as a gift for people, if you're wanting to buy one of these radios. This microphone has AB. It's really big. So whenever you're using the radio and you hit the AB, it goes between your first and secondary channel. And then whenever you're on your channel, you can turn the knob to adjust what channel you're on. Right now I have one unlocked. There we go. Whenever it gets in that lock position, when you change it here, it'll do that where it's kind of locked itself. If you want to turn it here, you got to press this button and then turn, because sometimes it'll lock itself up, But this radio, it has the channels, then AB. It lights up between the A or B channel depending on which one is coming in. So let's say you put one repeater on, let's say Duke's repeater on the top and James's repeater on the bottom. If Duke's repeater comes up, A will light up, and then if James's repeater comes up, B will light up, and it just depends on. So you could put this under your seat, and you could still see from the hand mic. The microphone has a speaker in it that is reasonably loud, and you could see what channel is coming in and hear what channel is coming in, all from the hand mic without ever looking at this. So let's say you're driving down the road and you can see what channel is coming in out of the two that you have set, and you can talk on it, and you can still do the PA, PB, PC, and PD. PA takes you to frequency mode, okay? And these are all they're just the PA, PB, but they're all it's just programmed keys as you can program. PB lets you go into the volume to adjust your volume on the fly. PC lets you get in to change your power setting. Let's go back in there and go up. Yeah, you can change it with the remote right here. Because on the side of the remote, it has an up and down key, as you see right here, up and down. So you can go up and down on these keys. And PD does RCDT off or on. So definitely cool. It's definitely nice to have a volt reading right on the bottom of the radio, so when you key it up, you see where you're falling to. Like it's going down to 11.8. Right now, I just have it hooked up to a car battery here in the basement. This is where I do a lot of the videos down here, and trying to find time to do these videos for you guys because I got a lot of stuff, a lot of radios. I got many more videos to come. I wanted to get some of these videos together because a lot of people want to see these radios like up close and with a lot of detail, like actually using the menus and actually doing stuff more than this radio is really great. But in real power tests, you know, this radio, you see, even with 11, it don't matter if you put 14 volts on it or if you put 11.8 volts through it. It always does that 23 watts. It does not change. Like the Ocean KG1000G, it moves like crazy. If you're 12 volts, you get 40 watts, and at 14 volts, you get 50. You know, this radio is very, like, straight across the board. Whatever, when you put it on medium, you're going to get what it said. If you put it on low, you're going to get the 5 watts. It doesn't change itself just because of the voltage change. So it don't matter if you have your car started or you have your car shut off. Either way, you're going to be able to hear everything, and even then you're going to, it don't matter if you have your car on or your car off. You will be able to get the same wattage all the time and know what you're getting. And they did a really good job with this radio, putting it in where when you key up on this, whatever power you decide, you know exactly how much power is coming out the back end of the radio. Honestly, this is the only radio that I have that the voltage and the watts is exactly, it never changes. A lot of radios it changes. Just so that everybody can get kind of an idea of what the sound is like on this radio. What we'll do here first, we'll go to sound. We'll turn it, it goes all the way up to, there's 35. So we'll just go down to 30. That'll be almost max volume. And it'll give you an idea, guys, of how much volume and what the sound quality is. Now, I'm going to radio the repeater. One of my friends is on the repeater. I was talking to him on the KG1000G over here on my desk. But what we're going to do is I'm going to radio him, and then we're going to hear him come back and run a test. Now, he's 35 miles away, almost maybe even 40 miles away from the repeater, and I'm about 4 or 5 miles away from the repeater. So he might be a little distorted because we had a solar storm in the last couple of days. So normally the quality of his talking is like 100%. You can understand him like perfect, but we'll see what happens. Gonna change it to, there we go. 970 on the repeater. Yeah, go ahead there and do a sound test for the AnyTone.
RVS 668. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. How's it sound?
It sounds great. Even with that solar storm that we've had the last couple of days, it still sounds really good for for you kicking 35, 40 miles to the repeater. I appreciate you helping out.
It's my pleasure.
There was just a demonstration. I wanted you guys to be able to see it actually in action there. It sounds good and it works really well. This radio just, I'm sure more than once in this video I'm going to say that I like this radio. So a lot of people have asked me, what should I get for a first radio? And that's the reason I did the short on this the other day. That this radio needed to come out and be dusted off, be told on. But this radio for $120, it's an AnyTone AT-778UV. This radio it will do stuff that a lot of these more expensive radios will do. It'll do repeaters. It's a good GMRS radio. It does plus minus. It'll do ham. It'll do GMRS. And to be honest, we could talk all day about this radio, and we could say 400 times how much I like it, but honestly, it's just a good radio, guys, and I wanted to bring it to you, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And we're going to be doing the KG935G next from Ocean. Be looking for that in the next couple days, and I appreciate you guys watching my video, and see you on the next one.